What's up, everybody? I'm so excited for today's interview. I'm here with Janine Lingenfelder. And Janine, welcome. You know, this is we're on episode 4 at the moment of the season 2 of the Story Edge podcast. So I'm so excited to have you on. So excited to be talking to you, because today we're going to be talking about sales. And and how important it is to be able to connect with people, and just really, I mean, every business needs sales, right? But we'll get into that. But just, Janine, welcome. So excited to have you on.
Oh, thank you, Marlon. I'm so excited to be here, and I can't wait to delve into this subject because it's really one of my passions.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So, I mean, we already know, like, anybody in business knows how important sales is. And you, as a virtual assistant, as a sales consultant, if you will, you just tell us, like, what do you do? How do you help people, so that we can start jumping into this?
Okay, so Jelani Sales is a virtual sales office. So anything to do with your sales, you give it to us. So we all know that sales and leads is the fuel for your business. You can't have a business without sales. And we are here to make sure that your sales funnels are constantly full and your databases are healthy to convert easily.
100%. So, I mean, when sales, so many businesses, they may have a database and they don't really communicate. How have you noticed? I mean, first let me just roll back, because you have a very special talent, and that talent is in two sort of places, which I found like two opposites, right? You're strong in admin, and at the same time, you're not scared of the phone. Would you mind just sharing some of that?
Yeah, it is very interesting indeed, because most salespeople, they're not really admin orientated. That's why they have admin assistants. So during my working experience, being in corporate, etc., I realized that I'm very, very admin orientated, and that's a rare skill for a sales executive to have. And
Yep.
having those two combined, it really helped me to stay focused on my leads, stay focused on my current clients. And because of that, I saw the gap in the market, and that's the birth of Jelani Sales, to fill that gap for businesses and their teams. So yes, definitely not afraid of phoning. So that is one of the services that we offer, is cold calling, because a lot of people are scared of the phone. For some reason, it can be something that happened in your childhood, or whatever the reason is. But with us, Jelani Sales, we pick up that phone and we do the cold calling. We do between 25 and 35 calls per hour.
Wow.
So that's roughly between 2 and 3 minutes per call. We love the cold calling. The reason for that is we love rejection. I know. It is the weirdest thing. But through the rejection, we actually learn. And through the learning, we grow.
You know, there's a saying that says that the biggest fear of a human being is public speaking, because they're going to be heckled. But I would argue that actually one of our biggest fears is rejection. And in business, that is like a core of being able to be successful, so we need to be rejected often and over again, and most of the time it's in the sales context. I want to jump into that, because like you say, that's a rare skill. How did you hone that? How did you get that to a space where you can now feel confident to offer this for other people?
It's very easy for me, but for a lot of other people, it might not be that easy. So in the corporate world, I learned patience through the cold calling. And I learned that when someone says no on the other line, it's not always a definite no. Once you have that no, you can then build a relationship on that. So what I mean with what I'm saying is to not just go and sell them the whole time. Every week you're trying to sell to them, because you're going to lose them. But what I'm saying is to build a relationship by educating them about your services. Give them tips about their industry and yours, because they're going to feel that you are trusted. It's going to give you credibility, and it's definitely going to build that relationship. So to give you an idea, I phoned a client, asked them to do some business. They said no. I said 100%. For every month thereafter, I went for coffee when we were still going to person. I went for coffee. I just went for coffee, nothing else. I asked a few questions about their business and how's business going, but nothing about me. It was about the client. And only a year and 3 months later, the client phoned me back to say, Janine, I am ready for you. I need your service.
Yeah.
So persistence and consistency is very, very key when someone says no. And it's the how to that most people don't know how to do it. And Jelani Sales does exactly that.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the thing, right? It's like, so I mean, nobody likes to, everybody now today, we don't like to get sold to, but it's funny that when we want, like when you're in front of people, the biggest mistake is then like just selling yourself instead of really doing what you're talking about. And maybe I'm gonna ask you, hopefully I'd remember, I did write it down here, just to maybe another tip later on, just around that, what can we do? What can we do to really just ask maybe better questions? Because I mean, even with what you just said now, that is quite intimidating. If I've just spoken to you, let's just say, and we now and I've pitched, and you were just like, you kind of brushed me off, or I got a no, or whatever that'll be. We didn't do business. How do I then come back to you and then say, how are you doing? How's business going? It feels disconnected. But how can one just like get better at just connecting with their customers or their potential customers?
So there's quite a few methods that one can follow with that. You can pick up the phone, or if they do have a store, you go to the store. You don't always necessarily have to buy something, but be gentle with your client. Walk in there with a customer mindset and not a salesperson mindset. And that is very tricky to do, because as you've mentioned now, you are always in the selling process, you're like a selling machine on 2 feet. But when you're dealing with a customer, you have to think the way that they are thinking, which is very difficult. So you can also do email marketing. You can just give them, as I mentioned, give them tips. Really show that you are caring, and you're not just there to take their money and walk away. And this acronym I live by is CSC, share stories. People love stories. And I can promise you, if you can connect that way with your clients, they will stay for life. Yeah. And care, as I've mentioned. Show that you are caring about their brand, their goals, their visions, their mission, not just what you want from them. And then show them the value and the benefits once they've become a client, or even before they are one of your clients. So SCS is one of my acronyms: share, care, and show.
Yeah, that's awesome. And really, it brings a more humanistic way of dealing with people, because I mean, like you said, we're like this sales machine on 2 legs, but it's not a like whole machine thing, because you're actually selling to humans. So if you're there to share, if you're there to actually care about them and their success, then it's only a matter of time that they become a customer, or that they even refer someone to you and say like, I met somebody that, and willing to actually refer, because that is actually a massive sales sign, or even what they call a buying signal, or even just someone that if they're willing to refer you, that says that they trust you some way, right?
Exactly. And Marlon, these aren't new things. These are old tricks. And what I find is that people are leaving those old tricks in like a book or in a shelf or wherever, and they just focus on the new technology that's happening. You should combine those two, because together, oh, magic, absolute magic.
Yeah, awesome. So I want to go back in time a little bit, because really the whole lack of fear of rejection is really interesting me at this moment in time. How does one get there? I mean, how did you get there? What was your road to be like, I don't care about it. No, it doesn't even faze me. You know, how did you get there?
So I'm very competitive. And when someone says no, then I find that as a challenge,
Okay.
and in a positive manner. And then I take that no, and I build on that no, because in my mind, I'm saying to myself, you say no to me now, but in a year's time, you will be a client. I will make sure that you're a client. I'm not showing it and telling it to the client, but it's that affirmation that one builds in your mind that is so, so powerful. And I am one that believes in affirmation, because it really, really helps with the growth of yourself and business. So that's when I realized, okay, I can do this. And once it happened, and it happened even more and more and more, I mean, come on, how awesome is that? So with every no, it's an amazing challenge. And if you can challenge yourself and win, oh, it just fuels your own fire.
Mm, mm. And so let's talk a little bit about the affirmations, because that interests me quite a bit. So when did you discover affirmations, and how to affirm yourself into things that you really want, or behavior that you really want?
I think it's also connected with dreams. I always wanted to own my own business. I just never understand like how to and where to go, and so you find your own little feet and connections to get to that. But with that was the vision board, and with the vision board is the affirmation. So I will wake up every morning to say, my customers are happy with the way I deal with them. I attract money easily. It sounds silly now, but I can promise you, you are training your brain to think positively, because there's so many negativity happening around us. The more you train your brain to focus on those positivities, the better you will feel, the more productive you will be during the day, and you will see those results in the bank.
Yeah. I mean, that, as they say, energy flows where attention goes. I might be completely messing that up, but I think you get the picture. But and it makes sense. I love the whole idea of vision boards. I mean, for some reason, I just never got into them, but now I am as well. So I can really attest to what how powerful a vision board is, because obviously, if you can see, we're visual human beings, but either way we still imagine things, and that has some sort of visual representation of sorts. So I think at the end of the day, you have to build up an image or a feeling or a thought in the mind, and when you think of that thing over and over again, you can do nothing but actually become it, right? So it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. I was thinking that maybe something happened in your life, and you were just like, you know what, bugger it, I'm just gonna throw everything in the bin. I'm going straight. So it's very, very interesting, and I think it's really powerful, especially for people starting out. I mean, you're new in this business. You started this business, and you literally birthed it out of the fact that you progressively getting out of corporate, right?
Yes, so I've got 8 years of admin and secretarial behind me, and I've got 16 years of sales and marketing behind me. And I left the corporate world this year in March. And Jelani Sales has been running since 2019 as a sideline business. But when the business did so well last year, I realized, yo, jump, girl, jump. This is your moment. If it's doing well in 2020, imagine what it can do going forward. So yeah, here I am, properly running Jelani Sales on my own, and it's been 3 months, and it's absolutely amazing.
No, that is really inspiring, because so many people gave up in 2020. You know, for so many people, it was literally over. And, you know, whether it was right or wrong or whatever, it really, 2020 impacted everybody. But for you to like now say, I'm going to step out of this space even stronger, I think that's really commendable. And also just this other part. So a lot of people that, like you, wanted to start something, start a business, get something going. And, you know, they just don't even know what steps to take. You decided to do it progressively and just grow this thing. So this, and you've got a family. I mean, how was that, you know, having a, you know, trying to be a successful mom, successful wife, successful in your corporate job, and now successfully growing a side business. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I must say, it was like a Gold Rush City roller coaster ride with so many emotions, but with the end goal in mind the whole time. And one thing that I do throughout my life is transparency and communication. You know, those two really go hand in hand. And communicated my goal and my vision and my plan with my family. They loved it. They saw my passion. They said I should have done it a long time ago. Wow. And having that backup and that support, you know, money can't buy that. We had our own little vision board where we put everything in place, you know, saying goodbye to a basic salary, saying goodbye to this and this and that, but yet standing on your own 2 feet, and you can get so many other things with that. And personal growth is something that has been standing out for me for the last 3 months. And my family can see it. I mean, I'm even busy writing a book, never in my wildest dreams, you know, so it's just amazing how the personal growth happens. So absolutely, if you have the opportunity, use your skills. You know, I always say you've got the sky above you, the earth below you, and you have got the fire within you. So work with that flame, because it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, that's awesome. And I think that there's a strong, and I get this sense, you know, you know yourself very well. You know what you're good at. I mean, you're talking about the fire within. And I wonder, what would you say to someone that doesn't know what that fire is, what gets them really going, or, you know, even what to aspire toward? Because, you know, things are really crazy at the moment, and I don't think things are never going to be not crazy. I'm just wondering, especially, like, what would you say to someone that's like that is struggling to find those things that they know they're good at, and then ready to bring it to the world?
It's such a beautiful question, and yet there's such an easy answer. And that is to combine yourself with people that motivates that flame. So that motivates you, that gives you positive energy. So even if you are in a corporate world, speak to your clients, ask them for a review, ask them for a reference letter. You are allowed to do that in your corporate world. You don't have to ask to give a referral for the company. You can ask to give a referral for you as the person who's doing the service.
Yeah.
By those reviews, I can promise you it's going to ignite that fire within you, because there you're going to see the value that you are giving to others. You can see the benefits that you are bringing to the table. And by reading those out of other people's mindsets, it's going to open up yours to the value and your own mission and vision that you are seeing for yourself. So speak to people that motivates and give you positive energy.
Oh, that's awesome. And, you know, you actually sparked an idea that I think one could actually employ when they are employed. I'm very much an advocate of being able to create your own. You still have a personal brand within the company context. And even within my own company, like trying to get people who are associated, who are in my business, to actually talk about what they're doing, and obviously being sensitive to customer stuff, but really just promote themselves within their job and what they do. And I think what you sparked for me was, ask your customers for reviews. And if they're putting that on like something like LinkedIn, for example, as what do they call it? A recommendation?
Recommendation.
Yeah, so if you do like something like that, it's still very tasteful, because you're not really talking about yourself. They are talking about you and saying that you're good at what you do. And then later on, you're actually building those references, coming from other people that could really help you wherever you want to go. Should you want to find another job? Should you want to start your own business in that line or something?
Exactly.
It speaks to credibility, and that's a really great tip. I love that one. Thank you.
Only a pleasure.
Awesome. So I think, so let's just go back to sales, because it's always an interesting topic, right? So your job, or what you do for people, is that you help them with cold calling. And you mentioned quite what I would consider an obscene amount of calls being done in a short period of time. and I'm like blown away by that. So and it's interesting, because people like Outsurance, or these insurance companies, for someone who doesn't know what Outsurance is, insurance companies, all different types of brands, they're constantly calling people. Even though I have been a customer and left. Can you just talk a little bit about how important it is to connect on the phone, to use the phone as a connection point for customers? Because you mentioned email earlier, and some people, they divert primarily to that, or they're so scared they don't even want to see their customer until that person's buying. Can you talk a little bit about that, your experience, and tips maybe that you may have?
So it all comes back to the human factor behind the phone. Remember that if you phone someone and you're not smiling, the other person knows that. It is a fact. So if you want to, you can do your cold calling in front of a mirror, because then you're going to see your own reflection. You're going to see how you talk. You're going to see how you use your one hand while the other one is holding the phone, or both hands if you've got your earphones on. Because those movements are energy, and the energy flows through to the phone. So it comes back to also not being a robot over the phone. It comes back to being an actor over the phone. So when you do calling, whether it's cold calling or calling for a review, whatever it is, always be smiling, always be positive, and always be acting in a way that the person on the other phone feels so comfortable speaking to you and giving you what you are looking for. And yet again, it comes back to, when you do phone, have the mindset of the customer and not of you as a salesperson.
Awesome. No, that's 100%. I love that. I love the idea of having to see yourself do it. What is now, there's like things like sales pitches and not see me like a robot, but if I have a script, it kind of gets robotic, doesn't it? What is your idea of a good script or pitch?
So not going to give away too many tips and ideas,
sure.
But what I can say is that you have a plan for the week. If not, that's another tip. Plan accordingly, because it's going to help you in your processes. But if you have a plan and you focus on knowing that this afternoon from 3 to 5, I'm doing calling. I'm calling clients. That 20 minutes before you start your calling, go through your script. try to memorize the script in a way that you are not sounding like you are reading or like you are really focusing so much on the piece of paper in front of you. Because the more prepared you are and you know what you are supposed to be saying and doing, the better equipped you will be to sound like an actor and have that positive energy flowing through the phone so that the person on the other side feels and hear that as well. So it's all comes into preparation of the script. We all have various scripts, I understand that. But as a salesperson, you should know the scripts. You should know your product. You should truly know at least 80% of what the prospect will be saying, what objections might come through. If there's a new objection, it's a both learning curve for you and the prospect.
So, I mean, you suggested there that, and for people that don't know what an objection is really just, tell us what is an objection?
Well, an objection can be various things. No, I'm not interested. Okay, please can I ask you, what is the reason for you not being interested? You know, ask questions, because the more questions you're going to ask and you are able to ask those questions, it builds trust, it builds credibility. You're standing out because not everybody gets to that point. Not everybody wants to do all those questions. So if you have the ability to do that, do it, because it is absolutely powerful. And as I say, builds on your own portfolio and you stand out from the competitor. And another objection, just to give an example, can be, no, thank you, we already have a gym contract. What benefits can you give to that person to change their mind? When is the contract ending? Perhaps we can reevaluate in a month's time. Keep the conversation going. Put the ball in their court in a positive manner all the time until you have enough information to continue the relationship or even close the deal right there and then.
100%. So I love that, ask questions, stay in their world, stay on the phone, because most people don't get that. I love those suggestions, and really just so the objections. So you're meeting these objections and you're communicating with them. You're kind of keeping them on the phone. You're keeping them connected. I mean, now at which point does one actually connect? Because now I'm just trying to sort of just close it off to the point where there's more of a connection. So you said, you actually answered it. You said, ask more questions. So if you ask more questions, you'll actually start to get someone to open up to where they are at, and you'll know where that closes off. That's awesome. So, and also you brought up a very interesting thing around just setting that time aside, blocking that time out to connect with people, whether it's cold or warm, calling your clientele. Talk about referrals. I mean, is that something that you build in? Is that something that you would do and that you offer to your clients? Do you build referrals into how you call people? Is that something you suggest people should do?
Absolutely. Referrals, it comes back to giving you credibility, and because the more referrals you give, the more your name gets out there as well. And that's very important. Your name is you, and your services is connected to that. And if you go and do a Marlin map, if I may call it that, and you go and map out all these things and all the benefits that you can give, and you add referrals there, it is such a powerful thing to have. And if I can give my client a referral if they need something, I mean, it just builds trust in such an enormous way that, once again, money can't buy that. And if the referral goes through and everybody is happy, I mean, it just, the relationship is long lasting for sure.
Now, I've done it. I've seen the power of that. Many a times I've been on a sales call, realized that the person I'm speaking to actually either doesn't need my service or can't make use of my service at that moment in time, just because of where they're at. And
Yes.
instead of me trying to, cancel that phone call, I'd actually try and give them something that they want. Say, hey, wait, actually, I know someone that's better suited that can actually help you in this space. So would you mind connecting with them, speaking to them? It was really funny. Same sort of thing happened not too long ago where I'm changing the systems in my business, move customer over. And I'm literally saying to the customer, we have to stop doing business because I'm changing things. And then they were like, oh, I need something. And I was like, okay, well, I can help you with that. Let me give you the number of somebody that can do that. And really they do business with, and if that works out, great. And actually following up on whether it works out is also something important, because then it keeps them remembering you, right? Because that's the end goal, like you mentioned. It's like it reminds them of you.
Exactly. It's about you at the end of the day. And, a referral for me is also in the same family as collaboration. Now, Jelani Sales have got various services, and social media management is one of them. And I only focus on certain platforms, but I know other people and I trust other people that they do other platforms that I don't do, which means we can collaborate, and yet all three parties are happy and getting the end result done. So it all comes back to you as a person, yes, but it also comes back to that client service and the client satisfaction. You want your client to stay a client and build a long-lasting relationship with them. So the more people you can bring on board with services you can't do, the better you look and your client's happy.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Janine. That's so awesome. So, I mean, just as before we close, I wondered, do you have any parting thoughts? Any things that you want to share with us?
Yes, just from the services that we do, as you know, cold calling, we do database cleanup and management. We also do administration management and social media management. And just a tip out there for everybody who's listening, connect with people. Connect with people in your own services, because collaboration today is absolutely powerful. And don't be afraid of your competition. Connect with them and you will see the power. You will see that your flame will just keep on going. And that's ultimately the goal. And also remember that success is there's no elevator to success. It is step by step. And I always say, if you take 2 steps backwards and 1 step forward, you're dancing, you're doing the cha-cha. So keep that in mind, stay positive no matter what, because it is really, really amazing if you can see where you are at and where you can go.
Oh, awesome, Janine. Thank you. Great advice. And the cha-cha is tiring. I mean, just by me thinking about and that's like business, I guess, is very tiring. But and I think I wish actually we spoke about the database sort of cleanup and what that looks like for customers, because I think a lot of us, we struggle. We accumulate data over this period of time, people's names, emails and cell phone numbers, and then they just kind of get stale, right? They kind of sit there because there's very little communication. All those details have changed. And I just think that those services, those things are so needed today. And it's very interesting. Maybe just the last thing. How do you, especially around Poppy in South Africa, the GDPR, Europe, what would you say, how can people actually go about connecting with people? This is the last question, I swear. How can you go about connecting with people in an ethical and still legal way, and over the phone, via email, whatever? I mean, how would you suggest? I mean, like if someone comes to you now and they got this database, do you just take it on? I mean, with these rules in place, how does that work?
Absolutely. And being a rule follower, you have to play in that playground, and very carefully as well. So it comes back to, why are you phoning them? If you can give them the reason and where you got their details from, You can grow the conversation from there. You know, a lot of people have attended expos 3 years ago, and they accumulated contact details from that. So if you know where you found those details, and you can say to the client, listen, I was at the wedding expo 3 years ago and I got your details. I am Janine from Jelani Sales and we specialize in X, Y, and Z. They can then say, oh, no, thank you. And you can then handle that rejection. Or, you know, the conversation can go so many ways. But for staying in the Poppy Act and being compliant to the rules, make sure that you know where you found those details and why you are phoning those clients. If you have that in mind and in place, then you're all fine.
100%. That is exactly I was hoping you were going to say that, because I was having this exact conversation with somebody else the other day, and they were just like, no, I can't email people. I'm like, of course you can cold email people, but you just have to tell them how you got in touch with them. How do you get those details? Because if you're honest about that, then it's okay. But if you got it in the wrong way, then obviously it's going to be a bit of an issue. So yeah, thanks for that tip. Awesome way to end this show. Thank you so much, Janine, for your time. Awesome lady, and you know, I'm looking forward to hearing more, because you're going to be starting your podcast soon, isn't it? I know I just put you on the spot.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes, I am going to be starting, and it's going to be called Pot You Cast, because it's going to be all about you as a person.
Ooh, looking forward to it, and really looking excited to it. Because what I'm going to do with all of this, actually I'll leave that for offline. But for the moment, thank you so much for your time. Thank you again for the tips. And guys, remember, just like a rejection is only just something that you can just take on and you can learn from, and use it from what I learned today, use it as a way to just build more relationships. So thank you very much again, Janine. You have a wonderful day, and we'll catch up soon.
Fantastic. If I can, Marlon, I just want to leave my email address if someone wants to get in contact with me at HELLO. So it's hello@jelanisales.com. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much once again, Marlon.
Thanks. No, not even a problem, because what we do is, anyways, we're going to link you up in this podcast, so you'll be Fantastic. In wherever it all ends up. Cool. Thanks very much, Janine.
Awesome. All right, Marlon. Thanks so much. Bye.